Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF Bet Saturday race of the day for May 26th is the Grade 1 Gold Cup at Santa Anita, and you can bet the race with DRF Bets. Will Justify win the Belmont Stakes? I have no idea, but you can get free cash if you join the Belmont Stakes action by joining DRF Bets. Learn more at drf.com/bet when you sign up for your new DRF Bet account. Here's the field for some nice handicap horses in the Grade 1 Gold Cup at Santa Anita, going the classic distance of 1.25 miles for $500,000. You can download free Formulator past performances for the race of the day on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, Matt, with the number 1 Little Scotty. And Matt, who knew Little Scotty was a dirt horse? 25 tries on turf, moderate success, 2 for 2 on dirt, 2 blowout wins, including a win at this distance.
Yeah, really, it's been impressive, the turnaround since he's been moved over to the dirt. Now, I don't know if he's quite good enough to run with the likes that he's going to face on Saturday afternoon. Should he run here, it's worth noting he's cross-centered in a race on Thursday. But I have to be honest, if nothing else, he's a forward presence. And that could be interesting because there are a number of horses in here that figure to be forwardly placed throughout.
Accelerate, the number 2, proved he could handle the 1.25 mile distance in the prestigious Big Cap way back on March the 10th, although it wasn't the strongest Big Cap in the world, and he might have been aided by the wet conditions that day. He came back in the Oaklawn Handicap. He ran just fine against City of Light, who is going to face one more time here. This is just a rock-solid, honest horse, but I get the feeling that you and I both like him at slightly shorter distances, Big Cap win notwithstanding.
You know, and I guess that's the tough thing, too. I understand he won at 10 furlongs 2 starts back, but did he really? He won on a wet, fast surface that was sealed, and he beat inferior company. I mean, I think he's going to need to prove that the 10 furlongs isn't an issue against better company on Saturday because, look, if the City of Light that we saw when these two just threw it down in the Oaklawn Handicap shows up, 10 furlongs is a totally different ballgame.
Prince of Arabia is the number 3 going out for Jim Cassidy, and Cassidy's gotten this horse in fine form. A winner 2 starts back and a non-winner's a 2 other than. I guess this horse always has a puncher's chance if you believe the pace is fast, although he's going to have to make up 7 lengths on Dr. Door in less than a month.
Find it very unlikely that he's going to be able to win, I suppose, at a giant number, maybe underneath.
Let's talk about the number 4 City of Light, because he's really one of the more underrated horses in the entire country. All he has done in his last 3 races are win Grade 1 races ranging at distances from 7 furlongs to 1.125 miles. And in that Oaklawn Handicap, not only did he have to deal with shipping out of Southern California for the first time, but he was 3-4 wide throughout, and he still was just better than Accelerate on the day. As we take a look at the Timeform US Pace Projector, we're expecting City of Light to go to the lead. It's nice to know that he doesn't need the lead if he doesn't get it, but if he gets the lead, fast pace or not, he's got a big shot at this race. Do you think he can get the 10?
You know, I got to be honest, the way that he finished at 9, I have no reason to think that 10 is going to be really an issue. And really, I was kind of surprised because this horse, it seemed like they were comfortable campaigning him at 1 turn. Then they tried the 2, but it was also, there's a couple things that went into that. Trying 2 turns and shipping out of town for the first time. He had a lot of things thrown at him at one time. Again, and facing a good horse and Accelerate as well. I thought it was a tremendous effort. I have no real question about the 10 furlongs. I suppose if you do, then maybe you have an opportunity to take a stand against him with a horse like Accelerate or someone else that may be able to see it out better. But I think he's a prime contender. I think he's the horse to beat.
Bob Baffert could have run Mubtahij in this race. He kicked Mubtahij out to run Sunday in the Lone Star Park Handicap at a distance that would have been very comfortable for Dr. Door. Instead, Dr. Door stays here, and I think you've got to consider that a positive sign. This is a horse that's won 4 of his last 5 races, and it just looks like he's finally realizing his potential. He has a stalking gear. He might be sitting just off City of Light early, and if you think City of Light doesn't get the distance, do you like Dr. Door better at 10?
You know, he's another one. It seemed like they were content campaigning him at shorter distances, and then all of a sudden these past 2, and they stretched him out in distance, he flourished. And we've seen it happen a number of times where horses you just thought all along were sprinters, and really, lo and behold, they actually wanted to go long. I was blown away by the way he finished in the California. Now, you got to keep in mind, he was beating far inferior company that day. And that, to me, really is the question with Dr. Door. The buyer is there. The connections are there. The way he looks on the racetrack, all that's there. Can he do all of that and be as impressive against better horses? We'll find out Saturday.
Let's assume the Timeform US pace projector is correct. There is going to be a fast pace. Little Scotty, City of Light, Dr. Door will probably be involved early. And let's say Dr. Door goes after City of Light early on the turn. That could set things up beautifully for the number 6 Pavel. I know you're a big fan of Pavel. This horse was in so much trouble 2 starts back in the Grade 2 San Pasqual. You could argue he was the best horse in that race despite finishing 4th to Accelerate. And in the Dubai World Cup over that racetrack, he had no shot.
Yeah, considering where he was positioned, he was never going to be able to run with Thunder Snow or West Coast just because it was a conveyor belt there out at Meydan. The San Pasquale, you alluded to it, he had a miserable trip in there. I'm not sure what the decision-making there was or if there was any decision-making at all. And then you go back, and I suppose maybe you could look at him as a perfect kind of dirtied-up kind of horse. Because the Malibu 7/8s, he probably doesn't want to do that. I didn't like that they ran him in the Breeders' Cup Classic. I thought it was a lot in a short amount of time. And I wondered immediately if that was going to have any sort of long-term effects. I don't know that I'm ready to go that far yet. I think if he doesn't run well on Saturday, then you got to start to wonder, did they make a tactical mistake throwing him to the Wolves too early?
Completing the field, we think, is the number 7 Full of Luck, who's been entered in just about every race in North America this weekend. Not only is he in the Gold Cup at Santa Anita, he's also been entered in the Grade 2 Charles Whittingham at Santa Anita on Saturday, and he's in that Lone Star Park Handicap Sunday's DRF Bets race of the day. I think Full of Luck is a really useful horse that just seems like he's a cut below these.
So far, I really, that's about the only way that you can look at it. He did a lot of really good things in South America. His 2 starts here, one of them was blah, one of them was terrible. And to be honest, if you ran him on Saturday, I think he should be in the turf race, not the dirt race.
I know there's only 7 horses in this race. You could make a case for, I think, 4 of them. These are some legitimately good older horses. Doesn't matter West Coast, doesn't matter East Coast. These are some nice ones. Let's go with our picks for the Gold Cup at Santa Anita, and you're going with Dr. Door. You are a believer in this guy named Baffert.
I got to be honest with you. It was one of those things. I've never been a huge fan of the horse, but it just, to me, I was really very impressed by that Californian. Particularly, we usually see races won and lost going into the far turn. When horses can really maintain that pace, or perhaps they start to idle a little bit, that's where you can separate everyone. The fact that this horse really found his best stride on the turn and then extended down the lane, I was impressed with it. Again, against far inferior company. Perhaps the class is going to be too much for him to deal with because he's got a couple of really sharp ones. But I'll take a chance with him over City of Light and Accelerate.
I'm going to go with City of Light in here. I have to admit, I was a bit dubious, as were some other folks, whether this horse would get a mile and an eighth last time out, especially considering the far outside post and the fact that he didn't get to the lead or up close where he likes to be. But Drayden Van Dyke just had him 3-4 wide. He cruised up on the outside. He was always getting the better of a rock-solid horse and Accelerate in the lane. I understand why they're going for a mile and a quarter. There's a lot more money there than going a mile. City of Light, I think if he can get the lead and dissuade Dr. Door a little bit, another horse that still has to prove it at a mile and a quarter, maybe he can take this field gate to wire. He's my top pick. I'm going to go with City of Light in the Grade 1 Gold Cup at Santa Anita. Big day of racing Saturday afternoon at the Great Race Place. You can bet it all with DRF Bets. Will Justify take the crown? Again, I don't know, but I know that you can join the Belmont Stakes action with free cash. DRF.com/bet is where you need to go to sign up for a new DRF Bets account. Approximate post time for the Gold Cup at Santa Anita. Race number Fever on Saturday, 2:30 Pacific. Best of luck.